Right, guys, we're obviously joined by Neil and Jake Edwards, our CEO. Jake's just going to say a few words to kick us off today. Thank you.
Okay, hello. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'd like to address a couple of things that were swirling around over the weekend prior to talking about the midweek match we have against Stoke City. But I would first like to confirm that the Stoke City game on Wednesday night will be the last game that both Neil and Ronnie are taking on behalf of the football club. I'd like to express on behalf of everybody at the football club our huge gratitude to Neil and Ronnie for everything they've accomplished in the last 7 months at the club. Keeping the football club in the Championship at the end of last season was an amazing achievement, one I think few management duos could have accomplished, and in doing so have certainly solidified their place as true legends of the football club and have written their names in the history books. Much loved for that and the previous spell, and will be forever welcome back at this football club with open arms. Our owner, Kevin Nagel, and myself were truly grateful when Neil and Ronnie agreed to stay on after that amazing effort and stay on for the new season. All parties were clear that this was not a long-term appointment, but critically would give us the stability on the football side as we look to conclude the change of ownership and while the new regime became more established at the club. We've since, over the last 3 months, made significant progress on and off the field, and you've seen a number of key executives joining the football club and some very talented football staff members joining us here on the technical side. We are making progress now, building the awareness globally and the reputation of this football club. We're investing into the matchday experience to continue to improve that. We are thinking about the commercial business and the commercial strategy to make sure we have a sustainable football club moving forward and we don't see again the troubles we had towards the end of last season. We continue to invest now in the community and in the relaunch of the academy next year, and we continue to make progress on the future of our stadium with our partners, the Giants and the council. And we've made great progress on the field, and that credit goes to the man next to me who's engineered the transition from last year to this year. A lot of the same players, and he's getting so much out of this group, and we're seeing the results of that now in recent weeks on the field. We've got exciting young players and some great experienced veterans in the squad as well, and we've seen some great results, as I said, over the last few games. So at this point we feel, both on and off the pitch, we are ready to move forward with our long-term plans to drive this club back to the Premier League over the next few seasons. Lots of work to do, but we feel we're ready now to make that longer-term managerial appointment to come on that journey with us. We've had detailed discussions with Neil recently about that and about the timing of that. And Neil has spent time with his coaching staff and graciously agreed that now might be the time to step aside and let that new regime come in and let the club put that longer-term plan in place. So in closing, I just would like to say that my time here so far, working with Neil as a manager, I've learned a lot. I've been so impressed. I've got to know him as a man, and I'm able to call him a friend, and I'm very privileged by that now. And we can't thank him and Ronnie, Carl and Ian enough for what they've done both last season and so far this season. Goes without saying that everybody at the football club, myself included, all the staff, all the players, all the supporters are going to be turning out and wishing you guys every success on Wednesday to get the result you deserve, to go out on a high note and give you the send-off that you absolutely deserve. So we thank you, Neil.
Cheers, yeah.
Do you want to add anything at this point, or should we go to Ireland?
Sorry?
Do you want to add anything now, or do you want to go to Ireland?
I might as well go straight to, then I can talk after, can't I?
Fantastic. Hi Neil, how you doing? You okay? So obviously your last game will be against Stoke for Huddersfield. I mean,
Well, my last game here.
Your last game here. Okay, so you're not retiring.
No.
Fantastic. So, why now? We're 7 games into the new season.
Yeah.
I know when we spoke to you over the summer, you were determined to kind of help the transition with Huddersfield. Why 7 games into a fresh season?
I think we've actually done what we set out to do. Really, I think, as Jake said, Kevin's wants a 3-year plan to get in the Premiership, and I've always said, when Dean brought me back, it was Dean who pleaded with me for days and days and days and changed my mind. And I said to him, look, Dean, I'll come back and help while I'm wanted. And obviously, once I'm told that they're ready to bring somebody in, yes, I've got to admit I thought it would be about Christmas time. Are you with me? But it's come earlier, sooner than I'd expected. But once they've told me that, I think you've got to move on quickly. Really, you can't. I think any job, not being disrespectful, if you're not wanted type of thing, you want to go straight away, don't you? So, and I didn't mean that I meant that they've always said that Jake and I always said that when the time comes, he'll be straight up with me, and that's what they've done, and we wish them all the best. We've had a great time here with the fans, and I think we've turned the corner again. We've got all the injured lads back. I think we're looking a decent team. I said to my lads at West Brom, there's no reason why we don't get up towards the playoffs now, in my opinion, when I look at what there is. I don't see much better back 4 or 5, or in midfield now. Ben's there, we're a few short up front, but we're going to contribute goals elsewhere, and on Saturday we had the 2 wide players score, so I think it's a decent squad now, and I think the fans have enjoyed the football, and it's been really, I think we've put the pride back into the club. I think when I came, it was all fractions, and my health is very good, by the way. But I saw people saying I'm leaving because of my health. Well, I've never felt better, really. And you say about retirement, but if anything, I've got the buzz again. I really feel well, and I'm sure, when February comes round, there'll be 1 or 2 people asking me to come out again. But I also appreciate and realise that. I've always said to Kevin, it's his club, and when he thinks the time is right, then he's got to make the decision, and I will go whenever he wants me to go. That's where I left it with him. I think it was the right thing that I came back. I don't think it would have helped if somebody had come in pre-season, and although it's a short stint, I think the stability has helped Jake and everyone at the club to get their own feet under the table. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of progressive changes in this next few years.
I remember you saying in the summer that you wanted to be involved in the club's search for the next manager.
I wasn't, no. I can't tell you it is because they haven't told me. So presumably it's somebody I don't like. So ask me when they appoint him, eh?
And you'll give it a seal of approval.
Small list of who he likes.
Fantastic. So can we assume that because you're leaving now, the successor is lined up?
I guess. Well, I would imagine so, but I think today's about me leaving, really, isn't it? I'm sure in days I can't see the team being without a manager for long, with the important games coming up, really, because we're in a good place at the moment.
When did you first tell the players that you were leaving?
Well, I think Jake told me after the West Brom game, and I told the senior players, on Friday morning, and I told Karoma and Sober Thomas to get the finger out on Saturday morning, and they both scored. So I should have told them earlier.
Fantastic. And the home game against Stoke, you were saying at the weekend you'd love to get a win over Stoke. It's going to be your last game. What kind of send-off will you get at the John Smith?
Listen, I just can't tell you how he's... I've had more comebacks than Frank Sinatra, haven't I? The old thing. I think the thing about the Terrier fans is they've been so supportive, even when things weren't well. I remember last year losing 2 games 4-0 on the trot and the doom and gloom. Are you with me? And so it's one of those things. They've been so receptive all around the town where I've been. Everywhere I've gone, it's been a pleasure to be the manager. I've got a lot of history at the club now, and Sharon, my wife, always thought the world of Huddersfield, and that won't change. We might go somewhere else and have allegiance for a few months, but what we've done here has been amazing, really, and I think it needed to change. You know, Dean was ready to change. Kevin came in and said he'd buy the club whether we got relegated or not, which I thought was fabulous. And now they want to go their own way, and then you've got to say good luck to them. You know, it's a decision they've made, and I've got to adhere to that.
Fantastic. Thank you, Neil. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
To Catherine Hannah from Radio Leeds.
Thank you. Neil, are you disappointed that this decision has come now?
Yeah, of course I am. I mean, I think we're all, I think when you're in the game, you turn, you look at what... I'll miss my players. My players have been absolutely fantastic. You know, even this morning, individuals, the way I give them stick and laugh at them, and I think that's what keeps you young as a manager or as a person, really, that involvement. And I've got such a great group of players. I cannot tell you. I will miss them, loads and loads, really. And to see players coming through now, even like the last one I signed, Ben Wiles, is going to be a super player with the club. And I look at Radoni and Josh and people like Ruffles, who they said, was a free transfer, who's probably best left back in the league for me now, or left side. I love things like that. They've all got their own different characters. I'm sure I'll be in touch with one or two of them, even when I'm not involved, because I've said my phone's always there for them to ring me. And that's how they are. They're a good group. They've listened to every word I've said. They might not have agreed with everything, but they know it's been for the best. And I think they've enjoyed the ride as well. And I told them, when I came last year, enjoy my time here, lads, because, not saying we're going back in time with the old-fashioned managers, but I think the humour it goes out of the game a little bit now. I think it's too intense, some of the coaches and things. So I just said, enjoy your humour while you're here and your days off, because they'll be few and far between in years to come.
And just to be 100% clear on this is entirely the club's decision. It's not your decision to go at this point.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, but I always said when I first came in that I would do the job as long as I was wanted by Kevin, and then when they're ready, they'd let me know, and they've let me know. So it can't be fairer than that, really.
And also to address, you've spoken about the rumours with regards to health issues possibly playing a factor. I'm very glad that you are very much well.
Thank you, Dan.
Equally, there will be speculation that there has been some sort of rift, there has been some sort of fallout. Can you confirm that this parting of the ways is an amicable one?
Well, not that I'm aware of. I mean, what happens behind the scenes, I don't know what they call me. But, face to face, I've not had any fallout with anybody, no. It was just one of those things. Jake said that they come to the decision, Kevin, that they want to move on, and the management is the next step, And, I think their decision is probably as big a decision as they're going to have to make, because I think managing a club is the biggest decision that owners have to do, really. And, if they're in the Premier League in 2 to 3 years, been a great decision, hasn't it?
Jake, are you open to taking some questions
Yes.
as well at this point? When you did your press conference back in the summer with yourself and Neil, and the big thing to come out of that was the need for stability, the need for continuity, and yet 6 games in, we're seeing a change. What would you say to that? Because it doesn't seem like a very stable way of going about things.
When Neil was appointed and he agreed to stay on, it was always a short-term engagement, and we've had a very open, honest dialogue the whole time as to when that decision might need to be made. We, as I said, have progressed in a number of areas on and off the field, and Neil's job, which he's done above and beyond what we would have hoped, was to bring the stability to the playing side of things, to get these players with some new addition to the squad to a level where this, I would agree with Neil that the results we've had in the beginning of the season don't reflect the quality of the team we've had. But we are very pleased with the stability that he's managed to achieve in a short space of time on the field, and we're making progress off the field. We wanted to make a decision from a position of strength. which is unusual for most clubs, would make those kind of decisions. Which Neil's right. It's the most important decision you're going to make, and what we didn't want to do is make it in a position of weakness. When you're at the bottom of the league, when the results aren't going for you, when the players are demoralised, and then often you make the wrong decision. Making the decision from a position of strength when everything is stable and when the right candidate becomes available and when these pieces come together, then you have to make that decision, and that's where we are. And we've been very honest, and it's been very refreshing to have just grown-up discussions between us, very open and honest about the timing of that. So I know Neil has poured his heart and soul into this, and I know even though there was a runway that he would absolutely want to continue it, and that's why he's a winner. But for the club, this was the decision we had to make, the timing, and the pieces came together now.
So will Neil's successor be announced before the Coventry game on Monday?
We plan to announce the successor by the end of the week, yeah.
And is it somebody who is currently available?
Mind your own business.
I like being nosy. Is it somebody who's currently available?
How do you think he's going to tell you when he hasn't told me?
We ask the question and we see what response we get.
Yeah, no, we're focused on Neil today and Ronnie and the great work they've done in the Stoke game, and all that will be revealed at the end of the week, thank you.
How important is it then that you get this right, particularly because Neil is so well regarded? The team seems to be on the up. It's been formed by Neil. This could go very badly wrong if you don't get this right.
Well, Neil, as I said, has put the foundations in place for us as a club and for the next manager. So the next manager comes in with a team that absolutely is on the up, playing attacking, front-footed football, scoring goals now. All the things that Neil and Ronnie have been working towards. So he's handing his successor a great foundation to build upon.
Neil, one final one from me then. What would your message be to the fans today, many of whom will be absolutely devastated to hear that you are not going to be the manager beyond Wednesday night? What would you like to say to them at this point?
I think themselves lucky they've had me for 8 months, 7 months, and we've had a great time, haven't we? It's been super. Just get behind me on Wednesday night, and I'd love to finish on a win. You know, not very often you win 3 on the trot, and it's going to be difficult because they've signed. I think they've signed 17 players, haven't they? So they've got a different problem to me. But it's a good club, and I'm looking forward to playing against them. And I think it's right. I don't think we could have carried on any longer than that. So it's I'm going to go back to my retirement, and at the time being, somebody told me that don't worry, you've got years ahead of you when the Rolling Stones and Paul McCartney are in their 80s are just going round again. I can go back on Twitter, or is it X now, or what have you? I've enjoyed doing that, with the young people that look at that. I'm being astounded, so I'm sure I'll be able to make 1 or 2 people laugh in the coming months, and try and get on the fishing programme with the lads. What do they call them?
Mortimer and Whitehouse.
Whitehouse. Yeah, and Mortimer, isn't it, Bob? Yeah, I'll be doing a bit of that now. So it's sadness today for me, but it's also exciting in the fact that I think before Huddersfield gave me that incentive, and Sharon more or less made me come back at that time, which, when I had retired, I perked up, and the amount of excitement that I've had over these last 6-7 months, I can't begin to tell you, and the crowd have been so important to that. And when I see what can be done in such a short space of time, it does whet my appetite. So I definitely haven't retired. I'm sure there'll be a job somewhere over the next... probably I don't really want to do much till after Christmas. I want to enjoy myself, and let everybody else struggle. And then I'm sure there will be an opportunity regarding if I want to carry on again, because I do enjoy it. I love making average players good and poor players average, and really I like not the discussions, how do you phrase it? I love the banter with the fans, and I know social media is evil at times, and I have read things about me over the past, especially when we lost 4-0 twice last year. But I think a majority of fans are so sincere, especially the Huddersfield fans. They know, wherever I go, I've been so welcomed, and it's been great to put something back. And I think the biggest thing for me is putting the pride, like I said, back into the club. Everybody's glad they're a Terrier now. Everybody wants to come to the games on a Saturday or a midweek. Everybody talks about the game now in the right way. That's what we want at Huddersfield, and I hope that continues, because I know that's what Jake and Kevin will want. Everybody to get involved, and it's a wonderful sport. And I've had a great life, but not going out to the pastures just yet.
Best of luck. Thank you.
Very much.
You mentioned you thought you'd be here maybe till Christmas. Was it always a case of just checking in with each other and seeing if you wanted to continue and maybe make a decision at some point?
I think you know, in Jake's position, they've got to be looking all the time at managers. I think even Kevin said something in the press a month or so ago that they're looking for managers now, weren't they?
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're not really doing your job, if you're not doing that when you know it's a short-term thing. And funnily enough, though, I've got to tell you the story. I hope Jake don't mind. I remember going to Derby County for an interview, Stephen, and I had a great interview, and I thought I'd got the job with Mel Morris, I think it was. And he said to me, I said to him, look, I'll do 1 year, get your promotion, and then I'll help you find a manager. And I thought I didn't have a. So anyway, he rang me the next day. I said, I'm sorry, I can't give you the job, Neil. The board, we want a long-term project. So I said, what's the long-term project? He said, we want 3 years, ironically enough. So I said, who are you giving it to? He said, I can't tell. I said, come on, who are you giving it to? Nigel Pearson. And I think he lasted 3 months. So it was sort of ironic, are you with me? I don't think anything in football can be planned, because nothing surprises. Always something surprises you. You know, I bet you half our fans have been surprised at some of the performances of some of the players that probably were written off beforehand. But I've been absolutely delighted, Stephen, with the effort and commitment of every one of them players, and to, you know, to see how even Saturday I was quite proud after the game, because you didn't know, with them knowing before the game, I didn't know whether they would, you know, I said to them, come on, I don't want to go out on a damp squib. I want to have a go today and excite, and let's, you know, and the same will go on Wednesday. I know Stoke's a good side, but we want to finish on a high. Me and Ronnie Jepson. I can't begin to tell you what he's a bigger legend as me at Huddersfield. You know, he does all the legwork. He finds me phone when I lose it. He finds me keys when I drop them. He, you know, puts me shoe on to get me shoes. You know, I couldn't do anything without Ron, and he's been absolutely brilliant. And it's really good to see him getting the acclaim that he does with the fans, because he deserves it. And I can't thank the staff enough. The staff have been super, and like I say, players-wise, and Dean. You know, Dean. It was a difficult time at that time, so I'm glad him and Linda now can relax and enjoy a bit of time together, because, you know, he's had his critics over the years, undeservedly, I think, but be nice now to see the club go forward, and I really hope I'm come back in my lifetime, anyhow, next few years, and see them in the Premier League. It would be a fabulous achievement.
I think sort of a lot of fans immediately leapt to, and some of the tabloids as well, the assumption that it was sort of related to your frustrations about transfers. Nothing to do with that.
No, I mean, if you look at the transfer window, you could say I was unhappy because we didn't get 2 or 3, you know. But I think the lads we've got, you know, I don't think we could have signed anybody. We haven't got, I don't think Jake will mind me saying it, but with FFP, we haven't got a lot of money to throw about. So, you know, the players that came available we couldn't get, and the ones that weren't any better than what we had. So we didn't think there were any need to bring anybody, and Kean and Hudlin have really done well, and they've been rewarded with new contracts. And you know, we brought Dell in, who, you know, I'm sure will get up to date with the championship in the next few weeks. Do you know what I mean? And the rest of it, if we've got it's only the injuries that really affected us early doors, like at Plymouth, to lose the centre half, you know, Matty, when we haven't got Tom Lees. Are you with me, Stephen? If everybody's fit, we're as good as anybody in the league. It's just if we lose 3 or 4, which I'm sure the new manager will get, you know, look to get the squad the balance where it doesn't affect it as much, you know. But I'd be happy going with this squad I've got now, anywhere in the league, any time of the year. And I think that's what you've got to look at as a manager.
Jake, would it be right to think that this potential successor, you might got someone lined up and that was the main reason for the timing here?
It was, as I said, part of the reason, right?
Yeah.
So timing of someone being available, not knowing when the right candidate might be available down the line. So timing of this decision, yes. We feel that this individual is available, and it was certainly at least half the criteria for making that decision.
I appreciate you don't want to give us any names or anything like that at the moment, but what sort of profile of manager, or what would you want the manager to bring, perhaps that maybe Neil can't offer?
This is a very difficult act to follow, and it wasn't about what we have or don't have now. It's absolutely clear who can go on this journey with us and who has the attributes over the next few years to get us where we want to get to. It's nothing to do with Neil, what Neil brings to the table, or what this other individual brings to the table. It's someone, as best as we can do our homework on, has that experience, track record, and that ability to put a program together. This isn't, it's a good story about Nigel, and football is a crazy industry, as we know, but nothing really happens by luck. So we need to put that plan in place, and we need to identify an individual that can start to build this program from the youth all the way through the first team and go on that long-term journey with us, because we have a lot to do here.
Okay, thank you. Neil, how have the players reacted to this?
Absolutely delighted they are. No doubt Sober will put it on Twitter. He usually does, doesn't he? No, I mean, it's like anything else. The lads who probably have been written off before will probably be disappointed because they know how much belief I've got in them. But that won't, managers aren't daft. Whoever comes in, it won't take them long to realise that these are good players. You don't change things for the sake of changing things. There's a good group now, and it's good in the dressing room, which is important, and you need that in the Championship, because it's a long trek, and you need the different characters. I've been speaking to them, and tomorrow I'm actually seeing them all just for 5 minutes on their own, just to have a chat with them and thank them, and that's how we've been, really. We're a close-knit group, and I think there's a lot more to come from them.
I know this isn't what anyone else here is interested in, but injury news for Wednesday.
Yeah, no, I was going to come to that. I said to her, do we get Stephen after?
Just very quickly, how's Jonathan Hogg after he went off?
He's not been in today, but I think he's going to come in tomorrow. It's nothing injury-wise. He's sinusitis.
Okay.
What he had, and it made him a bit dizzy and things on the pitch and that. So I told him to have today off rather than 3 hours driving, and just see how he is. He's a good pro. He'll tell me tomorrow, I'm sure, if he comes in. If he can't come in, obviously he won't be involved. So I'll see. I'll make a decision when I see what he's like tomorrow, really. But there's one or two things in my mind for Wednesday, so we'll just have to wait and see.
I mean, and Danny Ward as well? Yeah.
Danny Ward felt a bit better today. He hasn't been on the grass, but he will be going on the grass tomorrow. But it looked like he'd been up all night tonight, so he didn't look so good today. So I think hopefully he'll look a lot better and train tomorrow.
Those kinds of players will be massive for the next manager, won't they, in helping that transition once you've gone?
I don't think there's any player in that squad that the manager won't like. He'll obviously have his own ideas, because you do, and some players that probably haven't done as well as some of the others will relish a new manager coming in. Are you with me? To give them an opportunity to shine. It works both ways, that, in management, and I understand that. But I think I can't really name you one player that's not given me everything, if I'm honest. Because if they hadn't given me everything, they won't be here. They'd have gone already in summer.
And finally, for me, Jake, the fans naturally will be disappointed by this news. I presume that was, you will have been aware of that when you took this decision.
Of course, and so they should be, right? The fans will be sad. They're losing a legend, and certainly not just off the back of last season's heroics, but on the previous term at the club. But also feel that the fans deserve and would want to know that their club has a plan to get back to the Premier League and is working on that and has put some deep thought into that.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Neil.
That's Leon from the Oxford.
So just, is it important, Neil, that it was done the right way? Because I know at your last club, what happened there, it was left a sour taste.
Depends who comes in.
Yeah.
Might be same man.
Right.
You never know, do you? Listen, it's Jake's always been straight up with me.
Yeah.
Full enough.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I've always got on with Jake, which is very unusual for me. And I've seen some of the speculation. I've blown up, or I've fed up, or I'm not happy, or I'm ill. But nothing like that. It's just been in the plans. It's probably comes a lot sooner than I thought. I thought it would be about Christmas.
Yeah.
But it's what it is. What it is.
Yeah.
And like I say, I feel that I've done my job now.
Yeah.
And I just want the club to continue, because it would be lovely to see them up there. And they've got a good group. Whoever comes in is a lucky man, really, because the group's been thinned down. We've got rid of a lot of dead wood. We've got new and hungry players in that group, as well as experience. So I think it's a great time for somebody to come in.
It sounds like it's given you even more fire in your belly to carry on and do something.
Oh dear. I mean, it'll be interesting, won't it? I mean, I never thought. Obviously, I thought I'd be here to Christmas, etc.
Yeah.
And but now it's exciting me now, because I'm not done a podcast for years, and for a year I've not done a show. I enjoyed my shows, Leon.
Yeah.
And I like the Twitter thing, so I can have a laugh and do a bit of. I'll do talk sport when I want, but I do enjoy that part. I try and make people laugh, if I'm honest. I did that at Middlesbrough in a horrendous time with the COVID.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And I thought I kept their pecker up. And I think I've given majority of Huddersfield fans. There's still some will be quite pleased that I'm going, I know, but you get that anywhere, don't you? But I really think that Ronnie and I can hold our head up, and we put a good shift in, and I think we've left the club in a very, very healthier position than when we took over.
Yeah. Are you thinking if you come back in sort of winter early next year, could that be before?
How do you know? I might get offered 5 million tomorrow to go to Saudi. What would you do? You'd be with me, won't you?
I certainly would.
Personal assistant.
Certainly would.
Leon. You just don't know. Listen, we don't know what's around the corner. At my age, you don't. You live for today, really.
Yeah.
And good health and happiness is the best thing. Look after your family. So we just get on, but it is exciting. It's exciting is because you don't know what the next knock on the door is going to be.
Yeah.
Whether it could be something I've never ever thought of. I mean, there's still about 15, 20 clubs I wish I'd have managed. So one of them might crop up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The next, you just don't know what's around the corner. I know that I do really sincerely hope that Jake and they get the act and it works, and the lads give everything. Because it would be nice to see them push on this year, and I think we're more than capable of with the squad that we've left now. So it's it's one I'm looking forward to.
And not just, you've got this reputation, firefighting, relegation, but you obviously want to do more than that, don't you?
Yeah, but you don't get the sack when you're top of the league. I've never ever had a job where they're going for promotion. I'm afraid it's at the bottom end, isn't it, when you get jobs, really. But hey, listen, I've enjoyed the last few jobs. Middlesbrough, Cardiff, Rotherham. I really enjoyed the challenges.
Yeah.
The fans at all them clubs have been amazing. And one by one, they've been the biggest achievements.
Yeah.
And this Huddersfield was even the biggest. So it's nice, like I say, you don't know what's around the corner, and we'll just have to wait and see.
But you've got unfinished business in the Championship, I would have thought.
I love the Championship. I don't want to go down. I like the Championship, even though it wouldn't bother me going back to Gainsborough. Are you with me? I enjoy the dressing room. I like all that about what managers get involved in. But the Championship's special because I love to play against these top teams, you know, your Leicester Cities and all them others, and try and rub them up the wrong way. That's what I enjoy. And the referees. I mean, I won't be getting Dean Whiteston again now, will I? For a bit. Well, I hope he's not listening. But you know, I think it's in a healthy state now, and I think with Howard Webb as well, it's healthy on the referee's side. So all being well, it'll all come together, and Huddersfield will get promotion next couple of years, and I'll enjoy semi-retirement till I start again.
Right. Maybe see you next year somewhere then.
You never know, Leon, do you?
Thank you.
You go behind you, Leon, please, Suarez, from ICV.
Cheers. Hi Neil, how hard was it to prepare and take the Rotherham game then, knowing that you knew what was happening, but players and a lot of other people didn't?
Yeah, it was strange when you know that you're leaving. But I had a sensible conversation with Jake, and I said, really, I think I could, you know, the 2 games, I should get what I can out of the players and try and get as many points as we can. And give the new manager an opportunity to have a look at what's going off and then be ready, you know, to come in. And Jake agreed with me. We've overcome one obstacle with Rotherham, and now we've got Stoke. It is difficult, but the lads are a genuine bunch. There's no big time Charlies. They're all down to earth. Everything I say, they do. And I just said to them, you know, I don't want to, like I said, don't want to finish on a sad note. So. Same on Wednesday, I want them to do the best. If it's not good enough, then it won't be for the lack of trying. I know every one of them will try the socks off.
When this conversation was brought up, did you expect it? Do you have an inkling, or did it catch you by surprise?
No, I was gobsmacked, really. But that's, you know, nothing surprised you in football. I think, you know, when Jake, you know, told me to put it together about why they decided on this time, then no problems. I've seen all the speculation, but there's been no crosswords anywhere, and it's their decision, and I adhere by that, and I always brought in. I'm so glad that we managed to do what we did last year to give Jake a championship team and Kevin, because that's hard work to get out of that division to get back up to the championship. So, you know, we feel as if we've really played our part, and. You know, and I'm going to ask the lads on Wednesday, you know. I know what I'm going to say to 2 or 3 of them because it's my last game. But it will be quite funny. But I think you'll see them giving me everything on Wednesday.
And I know you joked with Leon there, but where does this rank for you in terms of jobs that you've had? Because you've had some great ones, and you've done some great jobs here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, I go back, I still get people from London talking about promotion at QPR. Are you with me? And I love every promotion I've had. I've been very lucky with a group of fans that I've had. So it's I mean, the getting out of trouble last year is definitely the biggest achievement in my whole career, bar none, really. Even Scarborough, we were 50-1 outsiders to finish, but I built a team from scratch there, which was easier than coming into a team 7 points adrift. Are you with me? With not much belief in the camp. So that was the most difficult thing I've ever done last year. But even more so to finish on a high when so many people have written you off. Are you with me? That's what I love. Can't say what I'm going to say then without getting into trouble. But I love making signals to people. Can I say that? Making signals to people to prove them wrong. You know, when people say you can't do something, and I like to prove them wrong.
I imagine there's a bit of personal pride though, it's hurt, knowing that, as you said, you're not wanted anymore. Well,
I think it hurts anybody, doesn't it? I mean, but it's only the initial. I knew it was going to come, whether it was now or Christmas or January with me. I knew it was going to come. So, I mean, it does hurt you, when you seem to have just, got the injured lads back and you're on a run, do you know what I mean? But it's life. You just have to get on with that. And once the decision's made, irreversible then, you don't really want to be here now. So I've said to Jay, look, we'll give it a right crack now the next 2 games. There won't be any people taking the foot off the pedal, I assure you. And that's what I'm determined to do on Wednesday night.
Just finally, an open one to both of you really. When this was discussed between the two of you, was there a period of I want you to, or a negotiation to say, can you stay this long? Do you want to stay this long? Or
Let me tell you when he told me, should I? I just moved bloody house. I were moving house from one to another. And it's like somebody said, divorce and moving house are the two stressful things in your life. Why didn't you tell me before I moved house? I got all my clothes up there and I was doing it, and he'd come and help me carry some things up.
Can I clarify though? That was literally, that was from one door to the next door.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, it was that.
It's not like you moved country.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But it's not fun. We explored timelines. There was not a definitive, but as we said, felt it was the time to discuss this, and we've potentially got the right candidate and what makes sense for you in the club. And there was, we sort of looked at it and we thought about it, and I think, Neil had talked about the next 2 matches is a good window, so we supported that.
thank you very much.
Cheers. Would you mind passing it down to Alan, please?
This has gone off, by the way. Does it matter?
Thanks. Just leave it. It's fine. It's okay.
Sorry, Justin.
Hi, Neil. Just to ask, everything you've achieved and what you achieved last season to keep Town up, what would motivate you to carry on? I mean, what is there something in you that would say, I still want to do this before I
just
venture
think
retire?
When you get to my age, not doing anything frightens you a little bit. I think being in the dressing room, I think even Sharon realised that being in the dressing room is where I'm really in my element. And the sharpness and the humour that's around that area, are you with me? And nothing gives me bigger pleasure than seeing a group of lads I put together play really well and win, and the whistle goes and the fans are good, and you go inside and you realise everybody's going to go home happy because of you. And I think it's been an amazing walk through my life. It's been an absolutely amazing time. I've got so many people that have enjoyed my time at the club, and I can't begin to describe my feelings, not just Huddersfield, but everywhere I've been really. But I've had to work bloody hard in most of those clubs. Most of those clubs that I've got success, I've taken over in relegation situations. Are you with me? And managed to get them promotion within 12 months. It's been a great roller coaster for me, and I love football. I love the Championship. I love everything about it, really, in the dressing,
You talked about some of those rock legends going on into their 80s. Could we see you?
Well, who knows, eh? I mean, at the moment, you just try and live till you're 80, don't you, when you get to 74?
But you look so well.
But I do feel good, and I have to say the medical staff, Stephen Fieldman and his doctors, and they've been unbelievable with me, and I've been lucky everywhere I've been with the medical staff. Middlesbrough was the same, James Cook Hospital, and Cardiff, I had a heart consultant down there who I still keep in touch, as I hear. So I've been very lucky with medical, and you have to look after yourselves. I've been doing something with Stephen at one of his private hospital regarding prostate cancer, and unfortunately we lost some of the filming, didn't we, David?
Do it again.
Raji's not looking up there. But how important it is, and if I can help in anything like that to highlight how important it is to get checked for prostate cancer or one thing or another, I might be able to help my daughter. She's a radiotherapist at Truro Hospital. So I'll probably try and generate some funds down there as well, So there's a lot of things that I can get involved with now to help myself, and at the same time, try and give people a laugh. Everybody's too serious nowadays, and you read the papers and bloody hell. I mean, I love reading papers, but wow. I mean, I'm surprised they've not asked me to make my own political party up now, because everybody's in a mess, aren't they? Never thought I'd ever say that. But I'm not going to go for Lord Mayor of London. I don't go down enough.
Have you given yourself a time scale of when to stop, though? Are you just going to...
No,
Because you see somebody with all the money just coming back.
Yeah, about 5 times I've done that. Honestly, I don't know. It's one of them things that, when I'm retired, I really enjoy it. I want to go, we want to go to Italy for a while. I think I want to do one or two other things. You know, I would like to go somewhere special for my birthday, December. But then something crops up. You've got, you know, certain fans saying, "Why don't you come with us?" And you think, "Bloody hell, that's tempting, isn't it?" Are you with me? Something will crop up, and not necessarily something that you might think, "Oh, not in a million years," because I'm not like that. I take on any stupid thing sometimes, just for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean? I am looking forward to seeing what there is around the corner. You know, I'd love to see my son William as well. He's really into golf now. I want to go. I don't think he'll let me caddy for him, but I want to go and watch him play now. Are you with me? So you know, and there's so many things that I'd like to do in the meantime, but. Like I say, I wouldn't write anything off in football because I've enjoyed it so much, and this time's really given me a buzz, if I'm honest. To pit yourself against all these teams that have got all this money and all these players, and then to come out on top of them at times, it's really achieved. I love it. I love fans believing in their own club, really, and I think we've got that back here. I think our lot believe in our, you know, the Terriers now. You know, where I'm living, the land, well, I call her my landlady, but she's a season ticket holder, you know. And I won't tell you how old she is, but she's been season ticket holder for many years. And, you know, she's so full of it. She loves coming down to the stadium. You know, I said to her 2 weeks ago at West Brom, I said, "We had a good win yesterday." She said, "I know, we're in the crowd." She said, you know, never asked me for a ticket. Now, that's the type of person, isn't it? You know. Just paid to go in and, you know, wanted, you know. And I think that's how it is. I'd like, while I'm here on this earth, I'd like to make people happy and make them have a smile and think, you know, wow, you know, it's good. And you'll miss this, you know. David will miss me being here, and Raj, and definitely Leon. Although no doubt we'll be on Zoom, yes, Leon. Yeah. Oh my. But no, I'd like to thank you all. I think you've been really good to me while I've been out. You've had a few laughs along the way, and I hope I can come on Wednesday night after a win after my last game. It won't be for the lack of trying.
It's hard going last because all your questions have been answered.
I
but
know,
yeah, just been speaking to some fans. I wanted to know what's been your favourite win.
It must be Middlesbrough last year. You know, because I heard so many rumours and murmurs at 1-0 down before I went off at half time to make the change and to win as convincing as we did with some great football, and then read the columns after. Are you with me?
Yeah.
To read this, I mean, I do read these columns. No good saying I don't. Sharon said, "I want you to ban you from doing it now." So I have to do it when she's not looking now. But you know, I do read them, and that was such a, because they were a good side. In fact, we knocked them off a little bit then last year. We really stopped them. I thought they would go up last year. I thought they were the best club in the playoffs. But Sheffield United I enjoyed, but only because we were safe. It was the relief of Sheffield United, and to see Danny score a goal like that, it was appropriate because, you know, Danny's been with me. He's a bit like, you know, he gets a lot of stick, you know, because he's my son, according to some papers, which Reg, you know, he's upset about that. Reg Green, he thought he was my son. So did Jack. So I had to go behind the scenes there.
You're leaving on good terms. How important was that for you?
Oh, very much so. You know, I hated leaving Middlesbrough, as I did, and you know, they knew that. It's never been like that here. I know he's set aside, but I've always got on with Jake right from word go. He's my cup of tea, straight as a, you know. I'm not trying to get on with everybody, I know, but it's been one of them. I've always said, look, tell me straight, don't hang me about. I don't want to find out from an agent or a newspaper like I did at Middlesbrough. Are you with me?
Yeah.
You know, I knew weeks before I was going at Middlesbrough. That was out of order after what I did for him. So you can tell it still rankles.
How's your time in West Yorkshire been? Have you got any favourite spots in West Yorkshire?
I can't tell you, but I'm going to get on my bike again now. Unfortunately, where I am at Castle Hill, I've not dared get on my bike, really, because the road, the drivers are so bloody idiots, aren't they, round there? I mean, it's narrower in Cornwall, but you don't see cars in Cornwall where I am. But here, they come round the bend, so I thought, I better not risk it round here. So, but I'm looking forward to getting on my bike again. And Sharon and me, we do 35 miles a day sometimes, especially when we're over in Italy.
And finally, I think you should start a podcast called Are You With Me?
I know, isn't it good that? I think, would you come on to that?
Yeah,
all
of
right.
course.
Well, the man has, what does he, I think the one I did last year was You've Got to Die for 3 points. We called it like that. And then everywhere I went, all the groups of young lads, whenever they saw me, shouted, You've got to die for 3 points. I know. So, yeah, Are You With Me? Not bad, that. Oh, I'll tell him today.
That's all from me.
Thank you, everyone. We'll
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.